ocala.com. In person, 1713 East Silver Springs Boulevard. Or give them a call, 352-566-8324. That's 352-566-8324. Ocala Mac and PC Repair.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Got kind of a theme going to this morning, and it started early this morning. We were talking about inspiring creativity and helping young children get interested in writing their own stories and their own songs, etc. Right, and then later on we spoke to Sandy Ash, and she was talking to us about the San Diego Zoo. Right,
yeah.
And just now, real briefly, I had a conversation with our next guest, Julie Frost, and she taught me how to pronounce this word. Huacan, I think I may be saying it wrong, but carvings that she collects according to her bio, and it looks like carvings you might get, I don't know, as a souvenir from a zoo. Julie Frost is on the phone. She was raised as an army brat, it says. Hope she doesn't mind me saying that. That's what it says here. Loved reading since the age of 4. She's an author whose works have appeared in Cosmos, Unlikely Story, Plasma Frequency, Stupefying Stories. She's an accomplished photographer, a collector of anteater figurines, and Huacan carvings, spelled Oaxacan, and she's going to correct me if I said it wrong that time. She's a winner at the Writers of the Futures Award, which is how we came to know her through our friends over there, Carmen Bartolo specifically. And she's going to talk to us about that and hopefully encourage you to be creative and to write as well. It sounds like it was not an overnight success story for her. And it never is. It's always perseverance, right?
Exactly.
That seems to be the secret common denominator. Julie Frost. Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Where are you calling from?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the air with us. And how long ago did you win with the Writers of the Future contest?
I got the call on January 4th.
Of this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Did it change your life at all?
My life was already changing at that point.
Uh-huh.
Because I just had my novel published by Wordfire Press.
Oh, nice.
And so I thought that when I entered that this was going to be my last entry.
Oh,
contest.
Okay.
Because once you publish a novel and it has and you've sold 5,000 copies, you can't enter the contest anymore because the contest is for amateur writers.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that word amateur is confusing too because it's certainly not unskilled writers. I mean, amateur simply means you haven't earned a living with it yet, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So the first novel's doing okay?
It's doing all right. It's made a little bit of money for me, and got some really nice reviews up on Amazon. It's about a young man who has come back from Afghanistan, and all he wants is to live a nice, quiet life, and do some PI work for his boss, who is also his fiance's mother, and he gets tossed face first into this brutal world of werewolves, vampires, and nanotech.
Oh no!
Wow. Well, working for your mother-in-law is terror enough, right?
So is science fiction a genre that you just naturally gravitate towards?
Yeah, mostly. I write a smattering of science fiction and mostly fantasy. But yeah, I've been reading science fiction since I was 13 years old, and since I am now in my 50s, it's been a long time.
As far as entering the L. Ron Hubbard Writers of the Future contest, did you try it before, or was this your first time?
Oh, this was my 29th entry.
29th! Oh, wow. My goodness. Oh, my goodness. So it must have really been exciting after that many to finally have a winner.
Well, it was, and I have a great story about the call, because they call you when you win.
Uh-huh.
It's not an email. They give you a call when you win. And my story is about a werewolf, because I call myself that werewolf writer because I write a ton of werewolf fiction.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing for me. And the coordinating judge of the contest, Dave Farland, famously hates werewolf fiction.
Oh, really?
Oh, my.
But he likes mine.
So what happened with the call?
Well, what happened with the call was I was at a book launch for a friend of mine, Eric James Stone, who also won the contest a few years ago. And so I'm at the book launch, and another friend of mine who is also, because Utah is chock full of winners of Writers of the Future.
I wonder why.
It's a thing. I don't know. We have a really amazing creative community here, and we have so many winners, and it just kind of feeds on itself because we always, because the winners encourage people to enter the contest, and so people do, and then they win. And I think we've had a winner in almost every volume for the last 5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow. We're trying to get one here. We haven't. I don't know about Florida, but Ocala hasn't had one yet.
Yeah.
As far as I know, yeah.
Oh, since you were able to be part of the Army family, did you travel all over the world, and were you familiar intimately with the areas that you're writing about, this young man, the character in your story?
No. Well, I mean, we did travel a lot when I was younger, but that was a really, really long time ago for me, and I've lived in Utah since 1989. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of, I'm in a Utah mindset, but the character in my novel lives in Los Angeles, and I've never actually been to Los Angeles until the writing workshop that writing
Oh, really?
And the guy in my winning story is just in a generic town, medium-sized city. So
what was the title of the story that won in the contest?
It's called Cry Havoc.
Cry Havoc. Okay.
Yes,
And,
from Mark Antony's speech in Shakespeare, in Julius Caesar. Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war, because he basically goes on a revenge killing spree of the hunters in his city who have murdered his pack.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And this is werewolves?
Yeah.
Oh wow. And so it's not really the character. In other words, the fact that there was a dislike of werewolf stories isn't why you won or lost. It's because the storyline, obviously.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've had some very, very kind comments about this story. People said that I brought the emotion and I hit them in the feels, apparently. So.
Does it come from someplace else? Like, are you making a commentary on society in some way, or is it completely out of left field?
You know what? I just want to tell a good story. I just want to make people feel whatever particular emotion I'm trying to evoke in a story, which is either, happiness or a poignant thing, or.
Because a lot of times a story that has a good guy who does things that you would consider not that they're bad, but
questionable.
Questionable.
You usually have a setup at the beginning of the story so that you get why he or she is doing something horrendous to somebody else. Yeah.
Well, our story opens in the morgue, where he is identifying the body of his very last pack member.
Oh man, you didn't waste any time.
No.
Get in early, get out early.
Well, I think that was one of the things one of the other authors told us, is that he wrote like a bunch of chapters and then decided to start it on the third chapter because it really got exciting then, and he didn't want all that boring stuff.
Yep.
So he cut off 1 and 2 and made 3 the first one. So yeah.
Yep, that happens a lot.
In a story like this, are you more fascinated with the events that are surrounding the werewolves, or do you like to have that dialogue as a good balance?
Well, I like to have the dialogue as a balance because he's not he's a little conflicted about what he's doing, and there's another guy who is watching him do all this and just, giving him the look while he's doing it, but he's not. And it turns out, well, no, I'm not going to spoil the story.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want to do too much.
Let's not spoil the story, but there's a guy who's watching him do it and just giving him a look while he's doing it.
Oh, that's kind of creepy.
And this guy isn't threatening him or anything, so he's not going after this guy.
Let's take a little break and be right back. Julie, we have more questions for you. On the other side of the break, Julie Frost will continue. We're talking about her book, Pack Dynamics, and also about her entry into the Volume 33 contest of the L. Ron Hubbard Writers of the Future Award. We'll take a break and be right back.
You've got a garden, and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com, Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offered at an include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
All right, 18 minutes after 11 o'clock, and currently it's 82 degrees, and the temperature is expected to climb to 91 today, but in Salt Lake City, it's currently 78 and expected to climb to 97.
Oh, wow.
So it's cooler there now, but going to get hotter there.
Mm-hmm.
Julie Frost is on the phone. Did you say you're in Salt Lake City or near Salt Lake City?
I am actually near Salt Lake City. I live in West Jordan.
So it's going to get hot there today.
Oh, yeah.
Is Julie Frost your real name?
It is.
Okay. So great name for an author, isn't it?
I love it,
Julie Frost. So have you been writing ever since you were a young girl?
I started in high school, and then I took a 40-year hiatus. I don't recommend that as a career path.
No. And why did you take such a long hiatus?
I lost the passion for it. And when I was writing in high school, I didn't actually know what I was doing. And I hadn't read enough to know what I was doing, even though I read voraciously.
Right.
And I never finished anything. And it wasn't until I started watching, you're going to laugh, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Ah.
And the characters in Buffy just kind of really grabbed my attention. And I started writing Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan fiction.
Okay.
And I actually finished things.
Wow.
Do you know that I've had a question about this, and I've never actually asked anybody this, but I'm wondering how has writing changed because society has changed? Like, we are a TV movie society. So do authors now write for that audience, not necessarily expecting that their books will become movies, but rather because it seems like the older, more classic novels have longer, detailed descriptions of things than the more contemporary books do.
You know, it's a possibility that people do that. I know that my own writing is really short on description because that's a bad habit that I got into when I was writing fan fiction, because you don't have to describe things when you're writing fanfic because everybody knows what everybody looks like.
I see. Yeah, right.
But, you know, there's stuff that people do with point of view these days that they didn't do back in the day that I've noticed. We tend to write in really tight points of view now rather than this universal head-hopping thing where you know where everybody's thinking in third person. And if you're writing third person nowadays, it's kind of considered to be bad form to jump into every character's head. You're supposed to just stay in one person's point of view.
So what about some of the writers that write from two people point of view and they alternate between chapters, like one
I love
person's-
that.
Oh, do you?
I actually have a novel I'm working on where I do that with 4 people.
Oh, okay.
Which wasn't supposed to happen, but then I realized that the character whose point of view I started out in is not actually my protagonist.
Oh.
We have writers groups in our community that I know are very familiar with the show Robin and I do, and their favorite segments, I'm guessing, are these kinds of segments where we speak to an author, but specifically this type of an interview, because not only are you talking about writing and about your books, but also at least one path that might take you to success, and that is the contest that we talked about earlier. And I love this contest. We've spoken about it many times. And the reason I love it is, A, because I don't think anybody's going to be given false hope with this contest. You're going to be either you're going to be rejected, as you were for 20-something times, right? Or given some kind of a acknowledgement, and then a prize, which is an opportunity, and it's free. So I mean, it's a real win-win for everybody. And I mean, in your case, you happen to have had a novel published before, or am I right about this? Was it published? Okay. And by the way, I made a mistake. Robin pointed out your story is not in 33. Yours is in 32.
Right.
Right. Okay. So 33 is coming up, and P.S. for the listeners who are writers, you can still have an opportunity to enter a story into this contest.
And illustrators, too.
And illustrators as well,
and
yes.
Illustrators, too, yeah. Yeah, that's the other really cool thing about this contest is they send you home with art.
Oh, my gosh.
And you better get along with art.
Story. Yeah, and I have this fantastic illustration for my story that they sent me home with. It's just amazing. And the workshop, it's a week-long intensive workshop. It's like drinking from a fire hose.
So what does the artwork look like? Describe the artwork that you were...
It's from a scene in the story that's kind of a flashback, but doesn't actually happen within the actual story itself. But it's the part where the house that... And this is not really a spoiler because I told you that his entire pack has been decimated by these hunters. And it's a scene in the story where the house that they're all in gets firebombed, and he loses 5 members of his pack at once.
Were you able to meet the illustrator?
I was. She was great.
So where can we see the picture? Do I go to writersofthefuture.com? Is that worth...
If you go to, let's see... her name is Vlada Monakova.
Okay. Say that again.
Vlada, Vlada. Monakova.
Monakova.
Yeah.
Oh, I found it. I found it. Vlada Monakova. Okay, and then her work would be on there. Oh gosh, there's so many pictures from her.
Yeah, hers is the one with the gal and with the werewolf skull and the little bits of fire coming down is the illustration for my story.
But even though these characters have been across the centuries deemed as bad and everything, you still see some good in them.
Oh yeah. My wolves have a tendency to be not, your typical, you go crazy on the full moon night and run around killing everyone. They either, try to mitigate that as much as they can by caging themselves or taking drugs or whatever, or they are actually more or less themselves when they turn.
So when you went to L.A. for the first time, you were in the heart of what is considered the Hollywood area. You went to an area, I think, right down from the Chinese Theater, right?
Yes, yeah, we went through the Chinese Theater actually on the way from the hotel to author services.
Oh wow.
So that was really cool.
And were you able to explore the LA area at all, or were you just kind of in that one little dot on the map?
We were mostly in that one little area on the map because the workshop goes from like 9 in the morning until like 5 or 6 at night, and sometimes later. And by the end of that, you just want to eat and go to the bar and collapse. And
the story that you wrote for the contest, Cry Havoc. Do you think you would try to pull a sequel out and make it longer?
You know what? The characters are looking at me and going, "You know that this is a novel, right, Julie?"
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm looking at them, and I'm looking at them and going, "Well, yes, it is," because it left this entire, it left implications. Okay, and there's definitely more to be told about these characters. So
do you?
But that'll be after I write the sequel to my first novel, which my publisher is agitating for right now.
So you don't have any there's no contract restrictions regarding the L. Ron Hubbard people as far as continuing a character.
Oh no, absolutely not. You retain the rights to your story and your characters. In fact, I've already sold a reprint.
Oh my gosh!
Really?
That's amazing.
Well, this is an exciting time in your life, then.
Yeah, it really is.
What were you doing for the 40 years that you didn't write?
I was just kind of, bopping around, not doing a whole lot. Well, I mean, I was living life and reading a lot.
Were you?
And
did you get married? Do you have children? A husband?
Yeah, I got married. I have a wonderful husband whom we are going to be celebrating our 32nd anniversary in a couple of days.
Congratulations!
Right.
Thank you. And I have a teenage son, and we have 5 guinea pigs, a 3-legged cat, and a kitten who thinks she's a warrior princess.
Well, your story is absolutely amazing because you can give hope and motivation to some of the writers that they start writing and then feel they're not going anywhere, and then they want to put their pen down for a while. So you can really motivate them not to do that.
Yeah. Well, I always say never give up, never surrender. And, read a lot, write every day, and sooner or later it will happen for you.
Oh, that is wonderful.
That is very encouraging. For anybody who is interested in entering the L. Ron Hubbard Writers of the Future contest, you could perhaps be the next guest on our show talking about your entry into the Volume 33 that will be published, I guess, sometime next year. I don't know how often they do this. But I know that the one that you're in made it into the top 10, didn't it, on the Barnes & Noble list?
I believe it did, yeah.
Yeah, I think
it made number 1 on Barnes & Noble.
I think so,
I think somebody told us that, one of the other guests.
This is amazing.
Julie, thank you for being on the air with us. Congratulations on everything that's happening for you, and definitely come back. If you're ever in Central Florida, we'd love to meet you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Or if we're ever in steaming hot Salt Lake City.
And thank you for introducing us to Wakan art. I mean, I think that is absolutely beautiful.
It's pronounced Oaxacan.
Oaxacan.
There we go. So I had it wrong. Oaxacan.
It's from Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's from a little area down there in Mexico, and it is fantastic. I love it to death.
Julie Frost, thank you. Everybody else, go to the website, writersofthefuture.com. And Julie, do you have a website? Julie?
Yes.
Do you have a website?
I do. agilebrit.livejournal.com.
Okay, I'm glad we got that in. All right, we'll take a little break. Be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Anna Wells. Hillary Clinton is getting help from Vice President Biden as she campaigns in Pennsylvania today, but she can't shake her email scandal.
This week, the House Oversight Committee could get some of the FBI files on the agency's investigation into Clinton's private email system when she was Secretary of State. The committee has formally asked if Clinton committed perjury during her Benghazi testimony last year because her statements to Congress appear to conflict with the FBI findings.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. Donald Trump will be talking about defeating ISIS in a speech in Youngstown, Ohio today.
His campaign is really hoping that these speeches will help turn the page on what's been another tough week for Trump. His poll numbers are continuing to drop, and he is continuing to blame the media for what he calls disgusting and corrupt coverage.
Fox's Kristen Fisher. High temperatures and dry winds are fueling 11 wildfires in California. One blaze has destroyed at least 100 homes. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Geico presents Kathy, the Candid Real Estate Agent.
As you can see, this apartment has crown molding, and yes, that's a working fireplace. Can't you see yourself